Well, good evening and welcome to the Season 5 finale of Elon After Hours. I'm Baylor Rodman.
And I'm Stephen Boehm. Baylor, can you believe the season's over?
You know what? I honestly cannot. It came and went so fast. It feels like, honestly, just yesterday that we were standing here shooting the first episode.
Remember that time you threw up over there from eating a jalapeno?
Remember when we both threw up from your cookies?
Okay, all right, you got me. You got me.
Anyways, for the past 21 weeks, you have watched us stand right here and provide you the news of the day.
And we've consistently informed you of major breaking news stories, like the time that football mascot blasted his own cojones with a t-shirt cannon.
Or about the inauguration of Elon's first female president, who you might see more in this episode.
We don't want to give anything away yet, but stay close.
yeah, so the point is, who needs cable news? You've had us.
So let's start off as we always do, with some news.
Alrighty. Well, a county in Missouri just recently got media attention for their firefighter recruitment advertisements that read, low pay, cool hats.
And it's the first time in a long time that honesty has made the news. Did it work?
Well, they're still understaffed by 15, so I don't really think so.
Okay, well, speaking of firefighters in Germany were called on the scene to tackle an unusual emergency at a chocolate factory.
Was it owned by a guy named Charlie?
No, it was not. Anyways, the firemen were called to the rescue when the tank that makes liquid chocolate overflowed and poured right out into the street. Delicious.
Yeah. And speaking of delicious, if you were around campus this week, you might have also noticed some cows outside Lakeside Dining Hall.
And don't worry, they probably weren't the same cows used to make your hamburgers later.
Okay, wasn't so concerned about that until you said it. Anyway, as you can see there, former student body president Kenneth Brown Jr. has been a great friend of this show throughout the season. He got a chance to pet the cow there, and he took to Facebook saying, quote, I am one of the 24,678 people running for president. I'll be in Iowa starting tomorrow, so don't forget to donate and get me on the stage in June.
Look at him go. Wow. I do think it's actually 24,679 now, though.
Oh, come on. Who's running now?
You didn't hear? Kanye. Kanye's running now.
Oh, no. That's got to be fake. That is not true. No way.
I mean, who knows anymore,
well,
honestly.
That's true. Could you imagine Kim K as first lady?
Yes. I mean, I think this image kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. You know, I hear, and this is just rumor on the street, but I hear that she's had one of her ribs removed.
How do you think that works? Like, how does she breathe?
You know, I was actually wondering the same thing. Like, I'm honestly kind of afraid for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she looks...
yeah, I mean, she looks... Well, the dress,
yeah,
it's an interesting dress.
Okay, well, this has been E-Talk. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, we do have the Bachelorette on our staff.
And did she find love in a hopeless place?
Well, I hear that she and the lucky lad are going out to dinner this week. So.
Okay, well, let's move on. We've embarrassed her enough already.
You're right. Well, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, had her baby this week.
Finally! Finally!
Wow, okay.
What? I'm a fan.
All right,
I'm a fan.
sure. So then tell us, what's the baby's name?
Oh, Harry Jr.?
Yeah, quite a fan you are.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, his name is Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor.
Wow, that even sounds royal.
It sure does. It sure does. And with that, folks, we have got a great show for you tonight.
Yes, indeed. We interviewed Elon University's very own President Untitled Book, so that's coming up later.
That's right, and Stephen and I are going to reflect on some of the best parts of this season. You don't want to miss it. More After Hours ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Baylor and I have the absolute pleasure right now of sitting down with Elon's very own President Book. Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So we are so glad to have you here because I'll tell you, the first package that we did in the very beginning of Season 5 was, well, at least I thought that we were doing an interview with you at Maynard's house. Little did I know we were just driving around in a car the entire time, and that did not happen. And so they said, Baylor, this is the actual package. And so you have my reaction there.
Was it kind of like In Search of Connie Book?
Yes, it was.
It was set up
Did you
as
drive past Maynard House?
No, we drove around the Danley Center, and we were driving around, and I was like, where are we going? And then, yeah.
We got Baylor's hopes really high. He thought he was going to get to meet you and talk to you, and then instead I accidentally hit one of our crew members with a car.
Yes.
Well, that's not
Yes.
good. Not good.
No, yeah. It was all staged. But yeah, so anyway, I've been waiting for this interview the entire season. I said all year, we have to get the president on because now I just want it so bad. So I'm so glad that you're here. I really am. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Right. Stephen?
Yeah, so obviously you have a pretty fun job. You're the president of Elon University. In that, what is your least favorite part of your job?
We're going to start with the negative.
We're going to
Start
start
with
there.
the negative. That's us on Elon After Hours.
Well, I will say that if we have to start with the negative, that, sometimes bad things happen. So, and we're starting with the negative, so yesterday there was a shooting at UNC Charlotte, and so bad things happen in higher ed. And I think the hard part of the job is a lot of times that students don't always think things through. And so part of the job that I don't like is that there are consequences for students, and you hate that for them. I do think, they recover and they come back, and I believe all that, but it's just hard sometimes to watch the consequence of a poor choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we got
Okay,
that out of the way.
got that
Now we
out.
can do all the
Let's
fun
be
stuff.
happy.
Yes, exactly.
Because there's a lot more fun stuff. Absolutely.
So now, what did you learn while serving as provost of the Citadel, and how have you applied those lessons here?
I thought you were going to ask me what's fun stuff.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're getting all the hard stuff out of the way.
So at the Citadel, it was so different than Elan. And that was part of the reason I was attracted to that leadership position. I had been at Elan for 16 years, had learned a lot about, I was a teacher here, a faculty member, and then I became a department chair, associate dean, then associate provost. So I was learning a lot about leadership. I worked very closely with President Lambert, and I enjoyed that, being on senior staff, and I had the opportunity to build things here. So when the opportunity came at the Citadel, we already had a provost here, we already had a president here, and so if I was going to really be able to learn and stretch myself, I needed to go. So the Citadel, being so different from Elan, put me completely in a different environment. So at the Citadel, it uses a military leadership model for student development. So only a third of the students go on to the military, but everybody has to do the leadership model. So it's 4-year residential. Every minute of every day from Sunday at 7 p.m. to Thursday to Friday afternoon at 4:30, basically, the students are accountable. So that means they know every minute of every one of those days is programmed for the student. So it starts at 5:15 in the morning.
Could you imagine?
And I lived on campus. And I was a general, and the students were referred to as cadets. And so, it'd be Cadet Smith, cadet, and it's saluting. We use the whole military. And I'll show you something that happened my very first day, just to illustrate what the leadership, one of the things they do for students is they use forced confusion as a model. So if you're getting multiple commands from people, what are you going to do? So here's an example. When they check in, freshmen, they come to the table for check-in. They're very nervous about it, right? Their parents aren't even allowed into the check-in room, and they approach the table, the sophomores at the table, because it's a very strict chain of command, so the freshmen can talk to the sophomore. And the sophomore will say, I want you to pick up the red pen and sign your name on this sheet of paper. All right, and so I look down. This is my very first check-in day. This is imagine move-in day at Elan, right? Mm-hmm. So at Elan, there's music. It's happy.
Oh, yeah.
There, students are shaking. And they take their cell phone, wrap it with duct tape, and throw it in a box. That's the first thing they do. And then they say, okay, pick up that red pen and sign your name. And I look down, and there are 5 red pens. Okay, so of course the student hesitates, right? Like, are you stupid? Pick up the red pen. And I knew I was in it for a different experience. So then it's about forced confusion. What are they going to do in that moment? Because a lot of times people are shooting at you and yelling multiple commands and things like that, and so they're trying to get young people to stay focused. What do you need to do? And it's interesting because I watched hundreds of kids check in, and some just grab a pen and sign their name. And then others, they hesitate. And okay, what happens if you hesitate, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's shooting at you and you hesitate, you're going to get killed. So it's really fascinating. So they use a very different model. It kept me engaged. I learned a lot. And when this job came open, I was really, very grateful for that experience at the Citadel, but wanted to to return to Elon
Yeah,
and
come
serve as
back.
president.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you on your first day at the Citadel?
There was a little bit of that. I could tell you some stories where I was like, "Holy cow!" But I lived on campus and I got really acclimated quickly. They do blow the trumpet. We have reveille at 5:15 in the morning. The whole student body runs for 2 miles.
Hence the Phoenix Weekly Walk.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mostly walked, but I did join that time to, I thought it was important too. They have to have a physical fitness requirement, so everybody's in shape. They're all running 2 miles. They can all do push-ups, sit-ups, everybody, women, men, so it's just different. And that helps, I think, relieve some stress and all and they start classes 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, this a tough curriculum, so they've got things they're balanced. They're not permitted to work, so.
I'm shocked about that 5:15 revel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting to my 9:25
Oh
Mondays
my
and
gosh.
Wednesdays.
They do that a couple of days a week, and then sometimes their SGA president is referred to as the regimental commander. And so sometimes the regimental commander on Friday morning would call it for a spirit run. And that was like to build camaraderie. So they would, on their own, go ahead and get up at 5:15 and do, and I thought, and they're all in great shape. Like,
Hey,
they're
maybe
all
I
in
should do
great
it then. I don't know. We should do that as a package one day.
Yeah, a spirit run.
A
And
spirit
Elon after
run.
hours spirit run.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, that sounds very different from Elon.
Yeah, it was different. So I learned a lot. That's a very different model, but very successful. And so it was good to be in 2 different, very successful. Elon's got a stronger graduation rate, so there are things about Elon that I was missing, and so I was glad to be back.
And one of those things I'm sure was the beautiful campus. Do you have a favorite spot on campus that you like to go spend time in?
I like being the historic area here under the oaks out in front of Shar. That's probably but I have a favorite season, and that's tulip season. So we just had it.
Yeah.
And so it was beautiful. Like that to me is always when Elon really is just at its peak of beauty.
So now, Under the Oaks, all about tradition, community. Do you have a favorite tradition here of Elon?
I have so many. I would say my favorite event at Elan is convocation.
Yeah.
So that when all the new students are here and the excitement of the new class coming in. If you remember at your own convocation, so President Lambert always had this story about making a human bar graph and teaching people about privilege. And so I always really enjoyed that. And when I went to the Citadel, I brought that because the provost there would do the convocation remarks. And so I did the same. And then back here, so I've put a little Connie Book spin on it, but I really liked that, I thought that President Lambert really set the tone right. And so
I gotta say, I loved, and I was your first convocation, and I loved it. I think it will forever be my favorite tradition. My parents were sobbing. You hit us hard, so it was very
It
good.
was really good. And that was different was I added music, like the students sing.
Yeah.
I've always liked, so you'll notice that I do have students sing a lot, and I like, so y'all can appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that I do like having a little song, and I think it's showcasing music helps us put us in a different place. So.
Yeah.
And speaking of those traditions, most people's favorite part about Elon is the traditions and the tight-knit community. With class sizes growing, how do you plan to make sure that community stays just as tight?
That's a really good question. So we have a slow growth model. So we're not anticipating growing more than 60 students a year, and we have that pushed out to 2050 because we're always planning far ahead. So really, we think this is the right size for Elon. Why we need the additional 60 students is if we didn't add at least some new students, then all of our every year employees get raises, every year it costs utilities, there's a little increase. So we don't want all of that to be on the back of tuition. So we think a slow growth model is a good model for Elon. One thing we do is every time we add additional students, we keep the ratios the same. So it's 12 students to every faculty member. And so we keep that ratio. So we're really conscientious about so right now I think we have something like 43 new faculty positions being advertised, and so it's really, you want to make sure that your class sizes, your instructional class sizes stay the same, and that you have that scale.
Absolutely.
So now, on top of that, I know this is probably a question you get all the time, but where do you see Elan like in 4 years from now? Do you think?
Okay, that's good. In 4 years, we're definitely going to have this inn at Elan finished. It's 80 rooms. It opens in January, so that's going to be really exciting. It has conference facilities, so we'll see alumni getting married. We'll be able to host academic meetings, alumni coming back, and so the way it works is like the baseball alumni will come back, or everybody who worked on the pendulum will come back, and so it will be really nice to have that right there on campus.
Yeah.
The restaurant will seat 120. It's going to be open, so it's going to be great.
What kind of restaurant?
It's good. It's farm to fork.
Okay.
120. It's a little nice, right? Like the hotel is
I like
designed
that.
to be
Yeah.
a little. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a great place for families, and it'll be a nice breakfast too. And on Sunday a buffet, and so that I was just looking at all the plans, so it's going to be really nice. We also, in this next year, will break ground on a new STEM building. So if the elementary school we're building a new one, so that where that elementary school is, it will be a new quad. So we'll green it this summer. So when y'all come back in the fall, it's going to be green, and a parking lot will be there too. And then we'll gradually build this new quad. And we don't have a official name for it, but it'll be dedicated in the same way we have the academic village is dedicated, there's philosophy, humanities, history. Well, it'll be for the sciences, the new quad.
The Elon After Hours Quad.
Yeah.
There you go. You got a name
There you
right
go.
there.
Well, we don't have a name, but we refer to it
throw it on
as,
the list. We'll see.
we're calling it Discovery Quad.
Oh, okay.
Just now, because it'll be the intersection of science, technology, engineering, math with other disciplines, and so yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your favorite breakfast pastry?
I do like all the new pastries in that McEwen dining renovation. The guy that does that, very talented, making all those great pastries. Truth be told, I don't eat any donuts or anything like that, but I do eat. I prefer a protein bar in the morning.
Okay, that counts as a pastry.
So I'll count that as a pastry.
Sounds
so
good to me.
I eat a one bar.
How about favorite dog breed? Are you a dog person?
I do. I actually, my longtime pets passed away a couple years ago, 16 years old and 17 years old. So I really am thinking that next year I'm going to get 2 little puppies. And so I want to get 2s because I like how my previous, they can play with each other. So my kids have suggested a little terrier. So I'm thinking about that. I mean, I have a whole list that they've suggested, but I want it to be small, and because it'll be at Maynard, probably not something that's allergic, so maybe no hair. Or, yeah.
They could run around campus under the oaks.
Yeah, my daughter wants me to get corgis. I don't know, so I'm thinking it through. Yeah.
If you need a dog sitter, you have our contact info.
Yeah, absolutely. I would more than.
Wouldn't that be good to have a couple little puppies?
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Elon dog.
Irma told me they're bringing a baby calf to campus next
A baby calf.
Thursday.
To stay?
Yeah, just to during it gets stressful toward the end, so a lot of schools have puppies and things that can make people happy at a stressful time. So they're bringing a little baby calf.
That's funny.
So,
That's funny. So Elon's just about perfect. I can't think of many things that are wrong with
I
it.
agree.
Now I'm gonna make it a little hard. If you had to pick one thing that you didn't like that you would want to change, what would that be?
So I will tell you that we're working on the strategic plan, right? So this whole year we've been thinking about the next 10 years at Elan. And one thing I would really like to change is Elan is what is referred to as an anchor institution in the county. So we're I think the second largest employer. So it's LabCorp, Elan, and the Alamance Burlington School System and Moses Cone Hospital. Wow. Those are really the 4 big employers. And so I think a lot about our impact on our community, our presence in our community. Like, I'm really proud of the work we do with the Boys Girls Club. Just like right now on campus, I was watching all the families arrive for the village, so the reading and the volunteer service that we do. I would really love to see Elon do more of that. I think and blend with the community.
Sure.
So I'm hoping in the next plan that we can really deepen our relationship with Alamance County as part of our goals for the next decade.
That's a great goal. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And lastly, for me, do you have a favorite Elon student television
Well,
show?
absolutely. I think Elon After Hours is like the best.
Hey, you said it, we didn't, so.
But I will say,
No, stop there, that's okay.
I've always enjoyed like Elon News Network. I think ENN does a great job. When I was teaching in the School of Communications, I remember the student Michelle Nyland who said, hey, I want to have a game show, and started Win Stuff. And that's been almost now 20 years ago. She's a very successful producer out in California, doing lots of great television work, has hired a lot of Elon grads. But every time I see Win Stuff, like I saw it on Philo the other day, and I was like, look at that, we still have Win Stuff, you know, but I like the creativity and the opportunity that students have to showcase their work.
And then my last question, Baylor and I are both in acapella groups. What is your favorite Elan acapella group?
These are scary waters.
It's okay.
One acapella group, one of the groups practices in Alamance in the class. Is that
Might be you.
Well, we're third floor.
Yeah.
Ripcord is sometimes the second floor, but I think you're referring to Smooth Progressions.
Yeah. Maybe y'all practice on Mondays. What
Yeah,
day?
sure. Well, in the last few weeks we have been Mondays because our spring concert was recent, so when it gets closer.
Yeah,
we
y'all do.
Mondays.
Well, I just will say that I pass Alamance and the windows because the weather's
Our
been
windows
nice.
are always open.
Yeah, the
yes.
windows are open, and so I do get to hear the acapella groups practicing, and which is something I really like. I think that's one of our strengths are these acapella groups. I know they have a long history at Elan.
Mm-hmm.
I love the passing down the traditions that the seniors, make sure the groups are self-sustaining each year. And they just bring a lot of celebration to campus. So when I go to some of the concerts, I'm always impressed that it's packed. And there's a lot of showmanship.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And it's just fun.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. I mean, we all come out for everybody's concert, which is nice.
I
One
did
little community.
suggest that we have that all the a cappella groups, that one of the ways that we could interact with the community is now that we have the Shar Center, we could have a big palooza and with the different a cappella groups all and I think the community would love to see it
Absolutely.
and come out.
Well, we can lead that.
Let's get the ball rolling
We'll
right
get the
away.
ball
That sounds
rolling.
good to
Yeah.
me.
Well, President Book, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So
And
that was fun.
we are very excited. So thanks. You are our last guest of the season. So thank you
so
very
you
much.
started with me and you
And
finished.
Exactly.
And nobody's getting hit with the car tonight.
Exactly.
It's
Knock
not
on
over
wood.
yet. Yeah.
Knock on wood. Yeah, we never know with Steve. No, but thank you very
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Stay with us. More After Hours after the break.
Awesome.
That was just a pleasure.
That was
really great.
wonderful. I was so glad that my dream came true after, very
Yeah.
first episode. Looking back,
You did
right?
say it was your dream.
It was my dream. I thought that was going to happen, and
And while it was great, I'm a little disappointed for two reasons, and I'll tell you why.
oh wow.
The first is that we asked Dr. Book what her favorite ESTV show is, and
Yeah.
it wasn't us.
Well, she did say After Hours, but I feel like it was because the logo was. behind
Yes, she said Elon After Hours. But also because we then asked her what her favorite Elon a cappella group was, and she also did not say mine, and she said yours.
She did. She said Smooth Progressions,
So-
and we the smoothiest. So what can you
The
do? with
smoothie,
that?
I'd put that on my resume if I were you.
I should. All right, well, coming up, we still have so much more. We've had a lot of slips throughout the entire season, for sure. You've seen the final production, but it takes a lot longer than you think because we're a little clumsy. So you're going to see all of our bloopers coming up next, so stay with us. I'm a master at intro and outros now. Thank you so much. That's actually all the time we have for tonight. So thank you for watching. Never miss an episode of After Hours. Please make sure you follow us on social media. Thank you again.
No problem.
Eliza Spear, great job.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Baby, please come home Christmas. Baby, please come home Christmas. You know what's great is you are so pale that it makes me look a little tanner than I
It gives you like a nice orange glow.
Guys.
No props. All right.
I'm playing.
Good time. Thanks for having me.
Oh, and stay tuned. We got a performance coming up. You don't want to miss it. Right here on Elan After Hours. We are very excited. I'm sorry, that's not right. And I'm sorry, I didn't. There was red again. Host Banter. Yes, good sir. Can I do the whole monologue in a British accent? No.
Maybe in a future episode.
Maybe.
Oh my God! How the do I say that? And that, folks, was a lesson on how to be professional in the recording studio.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I had so much fun watching that because we've had a lot of good memories throughout the entire season.
And it's good to show people what a shambly mess we actually are.
Exactly.
But speaking of good memories, we have had some great memories in here.
We have.
Do you have a favorite moment?
I do. So my favorite was throughout the entire season, I think, was our cooking package.
Oh, that was fun.
In
That
the
was
Mosley
really fun.
kitchen where we were, and we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show too, about making the cookies.
Right. And we were both doing pretty well.
We were both doing pretty well until I added water.
Yeah.
To
and
that,
I
it
added
was not good.
cheese whiz.
No.
and-
Yeah, we had all these ingredients that we didn't know what was in it, and we were trying to put it together, and it really is just kind of a hot mess. But
Yeah.
it
It
was,
was fun, though, and then we did throw up.
We did.
Or at least came close.
Yeah.
And
I have gotten almost pretty sick, and in some cases sick
a
from
few
a lot
times.
of segments from this
Yeah,
show.
the pepper.
Yeah, the jalapeno pepper. That
The-
was
the
fun. That was
vinegar.
my least favorite moment of this season, for sure.
My favorite was having the old hosts, the founders of the show.
Oh,
here
yeah.
For that little prank.
For
with,
homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John came in his cute little hat.
Yeah. I know what was great was I saw then Hunter on the street like at past midnight.
Oh, nice.
Just like that weekend walking around and he was like, "Oh my gosh."
Was he alone?
I know. Yeah, he was, which is so not safe. But he was like, "Oh, Elan After Hours." And I said, "Yes." And then he had this weird Germanish accent. I don't know, totally off topic, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And I was glad that they came in the studio.
It is always fun seeing them.
It is, absolutely. But, well, folks, this has been quite a season. Thanks for sticking with us through the BEAs and everything. Season 5 of Elan After Hours. We are so excited to come back for Season 6. So, during this time, stay with us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Elan After Hours, and our YouTube channel at Elan After Hours. Have a great summer, Elan.